Good afternoon, everybody. Hope y'all having a good day. Uh, got some more stuff I want to bring up and everything. I've been watching the news a little bit and paying attention to stuff going on and everything. Uh, I'm getting ready to go ahead and brag on myself, guys. I do this every periodically because sometimes, I feel like I want to. Okay, but here's the thing: is since I've talked about this thing going on with Mr. Donald Trump and going into the White House coming up on Monday, and that there's going to be a calamitous situation. Uh, I noticed that he has called off the outdoor activities and moved it into the Capitol building, which is some kind of a what I would call a safety precaution and everything. I want y'all to go ahead and stay watching the slideshow I got up. I made a short video with these exact pictures, and it all pertains to what's going on at the White House, what I predict possibly be going on at the White House here in the next few days. But anyway, I talked about this, and I'm going to brag myself. It's probably coincidental. It probably is the smartest thing to do, but since I mentioned that this is probably going to happen, and I showed this short reel right here that you're watching right now, he went ahead and moved his inauguration indoors, a more private, smaller ceremony. So I thought that was kind of funny or odd that happened. And the reason I bring it up, guys, is this is not the first time something like this has happened with me. Now, I understand things can happen as a coincidence now and then that somebody gets the same idea as you do or talk about the same subject. But, guys, I'm here to tell you that this happens over and over and over again, not with people from the news station or even political office, but also people on YouTube and other social media platforms that have actually, it seemed like they have taken my idea and made their own videos about it. Now, I'm not saying anything's wrong with it because, guys, I do the same thing. I go out here and watch other people's videos and I get ideas from it and talk about it and everything. But most times I give them credit where credit's due when I usually use something from them that is pertinent to the information I'm giving out. And but guys, the thing I'm mentioning this is, I would appreciate if these people are doing this, and I know they are because I've seen too many channels out here talking about other platforms talking about stuff I had initially brought up. And in fact, I got into it very heavily with two different channels on YouTube about them taking my information and blowing it out. They actually even copying almost word for word what I had said about it, but yet not giving me credit where credit is due, which is all I asked for is give me a little credit. I do my research, and my stuff is usually pretty much straight on about what's going on. Anyway, that's my little bit of crowing, a little bit, if you will, or patting myself on the back. But guys, I usually call these things out long before a lot of other people do. So I'm just saying, pay attention. One other thing of note that has come up and everything is that Michael and Barack has split up. They are no longer a couple. I don't know if they're separated, divorced, or what, but they are no longer a couple, as it seems. In fact, you notice the missing Michael Obama from the funeral of Jimmy Carter, and also that it's going to be missing from the inauguration coming up Monday. They say it's a feud against Mr. Donald Trump that Michael has, but who knows what it's about. Um, One other thing, Anna and I was watching Anchorman, the Legend of Ron Burgundy, or whatever that movie is, the Will Ferrell movie, where he's a newscaster. Well, he was out on a romantic evening with his co-star of the movie and everything, and they was looking out over the skyline of San Diego, and guess what we saw? We saw an orb flying from right to left across the scene of the skyline. In fact, you could see the reflection of it across the windshield when they showed a close up of them standing in the vehicle. You could see the light shining across the windshield, going up across the co star's face and across the top of the car on out of the picture. It was an orb, ladies and gentlemen. I shit you not. Y'all can go watch it yourself and catch it yourself, but it's right there. Little thing also that's coming up that's really kind of important. I want people to take notice. Be aware of this going around in your neighborhood, in your areas, or other areas that you might think of. But it's coming out since the United States Supreme Court and other people, congressional people, and everything like that, And even these cities have come out and taken a stance against supporting the deportation of undocumented or illegal immigrants into the United States. In fact, some of the places has already started jumping ahead of the proposed Trump instantaneous deportation, deportation of illegals. Okay, we've heard about it. Some of us have been thinking about it, hoping for it. Yes, it's really kind of a great idea. I agree, but because of the federal level discord going on it and refusal to cooperate by cities and governments and everything, it is coming out that constitutional sheriffs are taking up a stand against illegal immigration themselves. They are sidestepping the federal programs against any kind of enforcement from ICE or other organizations against illegal immigration. And these constitutional sheriffs are taking up a stance and having their deputies take a look for this. Not only this, some of these constitutional sheriffs, as we call them, the ones that stand by the Constitution and will do their job, they are deputizing certain individuals, citizens, civilians, to act as a special deputy in activities related to collecting, identifying, rounding up, if you will, arresting illegal immigrants and other criminal activities in their area. You can start looking this up and everything like that, but I've seen this going on now. It's just really starting to come to light, but this has been going on for about 2 years now, maybe a little bit longer. But guys, this is starting. It's happening mostly in border states, from Florida all the way across to Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, into California, and across the Northwest, also in several states. These also are forming up in militias, deputized militia, sworn oath militias. And that's kind of great in a way, but also it's kind of scary in a way because these localized units, militias, will take authority in their own hands and undiscriminately carry out what they consider justice and law and order. Territorial disputes and other things like that, forcing citizens to rule under a authoritarian rule for this type of demographic things going on. It can really get out of hand quick, but guys, something like this really needs to be done. So we're starting to see these sheriff's departments and sheriffs and deputies and everything stand up and sidestepping the federal restrictions that's been placed on these federal employees. In fact, being threatened with firing and all kinds of an illegal process, they're sidestepping them and taking things into their own hand, which is kind of cool. All right. Another cool little thing here is been keeping up a little bit about CERN, and we keep hearing about CERN opening portals and stuff like that. They have been, okay? We know this. We heard about it. The scientists, researchers at CERN has come out publicly and talked about this. Some of these entities that people's been talking about seeing over these areas where disasters or things like this going on in other even war areas, that they see these things that look like dementors or shadow figures fly through the air like they have a cloak or tattered clothing or like an octopus tentacles hanging out behind them. Maybe you have seen them, maybe you haven't, or I don't know. But if you have, you'll know what I'm talking about. They are opening portals. These things are probably what's coming through, and we're starting to show up more and more, especially during disaster or high energy, negative energy times. These things appear more and more. Ladies and gentlemen, guys, the CERN particle collider is now old technology in a sense. Okay, they're still doing their experiments, but they have come out with something now, a new type of collider, if you will. It's much smaller and much more compact. And what it does is they're taking cylinders, basically, and using speed, the polarization, negative, positive polarization, or positive, positive, whatever, and also gravity to spin these elements inside these chambers faster and faster And as they spin around each other, they start drawing closer and closer to each other until they start spinning at faster than light speed, and then they collide, opening these portals. These engines that they have created is shaped similar to a triangle with like chambers at each one of them, the apexes. It's kind of interesting what they was talking about with this, guys, and it's really kind of cool. But now they can build these things much smaller than, many times smaller than what the CERN facility or any of the others that they have been talking about is there. I mean, it's just amazing. Anyway, they have been opening portals, things coming through, big bad boogers and all that stuff like that. So, be aware, guys. We might be having the 3 days of darkness soon. And if you don't know anything about that, you need to start doing some research into your Bible, okay? There's going to be a time when you comes when you do not want to look outside for 3 days. 3 days of darkness. On back to Trump a little bit. Y'all have been seeing who Trump has been saying is the appointees to his office staff and everything. In fact, they're starting to see hearings going on, and pretty much they act like they're going through the grill and everything, but everybody's getting getting passed through and everything. But I don't know these people personally or know anything about these too much, except what I've seen on the TV or news or YouTube or whatever about each one of these persons. And I don't know anything about their background, what they stand for, anything like that. But I do notice what the appearances of everything is. And Anna agrees with me. What we're seeing going on is that Trump is putting in a bunch of talking heads. I'm not going to come out and be insulting or anything like that, but guys, they're disposable. Okay, every one of these people are disposable. What we're seeing now going on, guys, and I can't really stress this enough, is with the appointment that Trump is making, we're seeing something akin to a nighttime TV drama show like Dallas or Twin Peaks or something like that. And it's ridiculous what we're seeing on this world stage, that these other leaders, other country people, people from other countries are just basically laughing at us at the ridiculousness of the whole thing. And it's kind of apparent that's what's going on. These are the people that's going to be put in their office. And the reason they're disposable is because really they don't have much to them, if you know what I mean. They're not really that strong of a character or personality to stand up to the rigors of working in Washington, D.C. But because what I'm calling is disposable is, if you remember back in September, I think it was, or maybe it was in July, it was in September, that they handed down an order throughout Congress that everybody there, all the congressional members and important members of the White House staff and defense personnel had to have successors 5 levels down. In other words, they had to find 5 different people that's below their station that would replace them in case they was incapacitated one way or another, or disposed of, or made unalive, as a lot of people like to use. So that is what I mean by disposable. Again, if y'all watch the slideshow here in just a little bit, you'll see what I'm talking about. The exploding star over the White House, the exploding star in front of the White House, the car blowing up in front of the Trump Towers, the 47 car, the Capitol building being blown up. What are we getting ready to see, guys? Why do you think he is putting in what I consider disposable characters into these positions? What do you think is getting ready to happen? Because these are low-level executives that some of them even work for a TV station news, and now they're running the country. I got some doubts about the character of these people myself, okay? But I do believe they are disposable because they will be eliminated shortly after, if not during the inauguration. And it's kind of apparent with everything that I've been putting together for the last little bit, that pretty much is what's going to happen. We have seen here with the Cybertruck in Vegas, the New Orleans attack, the CEO shooting of the United health care. And we're getting ready to see the office of the President of the United States taken over by a CEO of the United States. I know it's a little stretch, guys, but you got to do this to figure out what these psychopaths are up to. Why do you think Nancy Pelosi has not been seen? Is it her that's been behind the orchestrated attacks against Donald Trump? Think about it, guys. Think about it. I hope y'all have a groovy day. And one other thing, another executive order that came out during July is that they gave the executive order, or whatever it was, signed into law that allowed U.S. troops to start shooting on civilians. Y'all got to keep these things in mind and memory and everything when we go about thinking about what's getting ready to go down. Right now, if I estimated that there is, I told y'all yesterday, a couple of days ago, that there's 8,000 U.S. troops in the Capitol right now, and 2,500 or more law enforcement officers. That's been elevated to over 12,000 troops and law enforcement and first responders in and around D.C. currently at this time. And it's due to increase as time gets closer and closer to the inauguration day. Hope y'all have a groovy day, guys. Keep your eyes peeled, keep your ears open, and pay attention. Don't look where they tell you. Pay attention where you need to. Look behind you. Later.